What's up, fam? Brandon Walker, more Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country, coming to you on a beautiful, breathtaking Monday here in the SEC Country studios. Love the fog out there. Love the gray skies. It's beautiful. Paints everything a nice shade of charcoal out there. That is depressing. That's a depressing view. Not a beautiful day here in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know how it is where you guys are in Mississippi for the most part. What's the weather like in Mississippi? I don't know. I'm not there. I don't think I'm coming there either. I'd been planning to come for Christmas, but just not sure I'm going to be able to make it this year. It's just got a lot going on. A lot of things over here. First of all, I need a car. Somebody send me a car, please. My car broke down. I told you about that, right? My wife's car.
Again?
6 months ago it broke down.
Oh.
I've been trying to get it worked on. Long story short, me and the mechanic that was not giving me very good service, me and the mechanic got in a brawl the other day.
Nice.
And it ended with him holding a metal pipe and standing like Mark McGuire on a baseball bat and me walking towards him and somebody getting in between us. So anyway, that didn't go very well. But I'm here now. Brandon Walker, more Cowbell. Sitting here and talking about Mississippi State sports. Today we're going to talk about recruiting. 2 days left until the signing day, the early signing period. Nobody knows what it's going to be like. This is the weirdest thing. I hate the early signing period. It's stupid. It was a good idea, but I just don't think it works. Good idea. I just don't think it works. We'll talk about basketball. We'll talk about, well, let's take over the list here. Oh, Marcus Murphy and the Mississippi All-Stars dominating Alabama at the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game. We'll talk about that. And we'll talk about the bowl game just a little bit. Today's top five, the top five signees, or the top five commitments Mississippi State currently has for 2018, and what I think they can be when they come to Mississippi State. I'm ranking them by what I think they can turn into in college. Not maybe necessarily their stars, but what I think they can become in college. That'll be my top five today. Let's go ahead and check in with everybody. Good morning. Hail State from Cincinnati. Hello from Jackson, Tom Farley. Jacksonville, D. Curtis says, see you in Jacksonville. Thank you. Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Hello, Rod Holder. Hail State from Alaska. Adrian D. Brown is always checking in. Lee Jennings says the All-Star game was awesome. Kenny Manning's here. I believe Kenny Manning is in Greenville. The Toyota plant in Blue Mountain should sponsor you. God, I swear they should. Yes. Somebody should. Somebody with a car should sponsor me. Good Lord, you look fat. That's not nice at all. That wasn't nice at all. Why did that happen? Hello from West Point. Hello, Tracy Pruitt Davis. Lexington, Mississippi. Kenny Manning. You move around a lot, don't you, Kenny? Hail State from Atlanta. Thomas Loftus is apparently stuck in the airport. Him and about 400,000 other people. Hewitt, Texas. That's a new one. Robert Hurley. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Bubba Scott. Hail State from Mississippi. Justin Ryan Laird. Thank you for being here, Justin Ryan Laird. Arlington, Tennessee is where Phil Chamberlain is checking in this morning. Good to see everybody. How's the weather in Mississippi? Is it gray and foggy and nasty and stupid like the weather here in Atlanta is? Back to living in Calhoun City, finally, Scott Campbell. Hail State from Houston, Mississippi. Chickasaw County checking in this morning. Florence, Mississippi. Oxford, Karen Ray Bird has the displeasure of joining us from Oxford. Sorry about that, Karen. Petersburg, Virginia, over there on the eastern side of the state of Virginia. That's an awful town. Just a terrible town. Was at the All-Star game. Point City boys played great, as did a lot of Mississippi players, says Carl Middleton. Yeah, Marcus Murphy was fantastic. Terrence Cherry from West Point was fantastic. Jason Brownlee played well. You know, Tylen Knight from Pearl turned a lot of heads. Wow, that guy was something. Hello, Starkville. Hello, Palmersville, Tennessee. Eric Smith. Hello, Pearl, Mississippi. Home of the second best high school team in the state this year. Oh, hey, Landshark. Nice to have you back. You took a day off the other day. Went to the beach? Is that what you did? Yeah, okay. And me and Terp just stayed here and did it ourselves, huh? I don't want to say that you're expendable, but I'm just saying me and Terp handled it just fine. Just fine. So was your probation good, Landshark? I mean, your vacation? No, nothing? Okay. Just smiling? All right. Hail State from Deep Run, North Carolina. Thomas Loftus with a good question. Do you think early signing period would be better if it was in August? I do. It doesn't work in December. Too much going on. A better question, why have a signing day at all? Just let them sign when they want to sign. Maybe have a deadline. You have to sign by April 1st. But why have a signing day at all? Palatka, Florida. Hello. Leland, Mississippi. Ackerman, Mississippi. Thank you, Pamela Hilliard, for your thoughts. I believe I'm not sick anymore. I'm just a little sick. Like I'm like 5% sick as opposed to like 50% sick. But I think I'm fine. I think I'm good. Hello, Tanika Rush. Thank you for checking in this morning. All right. Terp, you ready?
Yep.
What was that?
I kind of raised the volume as I was talking.
Who did Eli Manning and the Giants lose to this week, Terp?
Eagles.
Is it still embarrassing to be an Eli Manning fan?
Nope.
Yes, it is.
Not in the slightest.
So embarrassing.
Nope.
I wish just the most embarrassing thing you could possibly be.
Nope.
All right, let's go.
It's the More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
That's me, Brandon Walker. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country, coming to you from the SEC Country studios here in beautiful Dunwoody, Georgia. Got Terp on the other side of the glass, got Landshark on the other side of the glass. They're doing a good job. I'm doing a great job out here. We're having a good time talking about Mississippi State sports, and my nose itches. I don't want to pick my nose. I just got to scratch my nose. My nose itches. There we go. Hail State from South Carolina. Again, the Facebook Live audience is here. They're doing a good job talking about Mississippi State sports. We do it every day. I invite you to come at 10:45 Central Time and talk Mississippi State sports with us here on this podcast. But as far as the podcast goes today, we're talking about Mississippi State recruiting and what it might look like in 2 days when the early signing period is complete, when Joe Moorhead signs his first batch of Bulldogs. What will it look like? What will Joe Moorhead's first class look like? What will the transition period look like between now and February? We'll talk about that. Talk about the bowl game a little bit, the Tax Slayer Bowl coming up next week. And then we'll talk about the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game and how Mississippi State commits dominated that game this weekend, how they really went out there and put a hurting on Alabama and had a good time. Basketball talk, just a couple of minutes of basketball talk today. We'll talk about, this is a topic that is on the message boards, and I just, I don't know where I stand on it. I'll kind of talk my way through it, but fans want to know when everybody's going to get behind this basketball team, and I think everybody is behind the basketball team. Don't confuse support with attendance, because there are so many factors that go into it. Now, obviously, a team that gets a lot of support will have great attendance, but I think this fan base is ready to support the team. It's just they haven't been given an opportunity as far as games, quality of times they're set for games. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And my top five today, today's top five, the top five signees or commits in the 2018 class for Mississippi State and where they might fit next year. I will rank them based on what I think they will become in college, and we'll go from there. Back to the top, Joe Moorhead signing his 2018 recruiting class. Now, Dan Mullen is the one that pretty much put this class together. That can't be disputed. But Dan Mullen did leave Joe Moorhead in a bit of a pickle. He left him in an impossible situation. A bad situation, maybe not impossible. Too many commitments, not enough slots. Too many players, not enough places to put them. So, the first thing Joe Moorhead had to do was clear a little dead weight. He had to encourage some guys to look around. He had to say, we might be moving in another direction. It, on the surface, made Mississippi State kind of look like they were going through a rough finish to the recruiting cycle. it made State look like their class was falling apart when it wasn't. Guys who decommit, like I'm not going to call out any guys by name, but if a 4-star running back decommits from State to TCU, it's not hard to put together that he was kind of encouraged to do so. He was kind of asked to look around. You got others. The Olive Branch cornerback, no longer with the class. FAU comes in and takes a JUCO commit from Mississippi State, and those are all State making room to finish recruiting on a strong note and finish with the class they want to finish with. Now, there was one decommitment, Ladarius Bishop, who went to Arkansas. I think a lot of people thought highly of him. A cornerback out of Arkansas who Chad Morris was able to flip. That one probably stings a little bit. Not all that much, but probably stings a little bit. That's probably the one decommitment that has had any kind of impact on this class. But if you look at it, when Moorhead came in, where Moorhead came in, if he just cleans up, if he just finishes up what Mullins started, if he just keeps the class intact and maybe adds one or two here and there, it's going to be a win for Mississippi State. It's going to be a good class. It's a top 25 class right now before you talk about adding a couple of guys I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But if you just sign Marcus Murphy and Malik Heath, Trevius Johnson, if you just sign those guys, the core of your class in Mississippi, you're off to a great start. If you sign Jalen Maiden, which all indications are that is going to happen. I mean, it looks like Dan Mullen tried to get Maiden the first week he was at Florida. Maiden told him to go kick rocks, and Maiden will sign with Mississippi State. Joe Moorhead did a great job keeping a 4-star quarterback commitment from the state of Texas. Hanging on to Maiden is awesome. The class, for the most part, was ready to go. Joe Moorhead's job was to keep it intact. He has done that. He has kept the core pieces of what State needs going forward. Now, after the early signing period comes and goes on Wednesday, we'll see who all signs. We'll see what's left. We'll see how many spots Moorhead has left. Does he need to go in the next 2 months before the February signing day and add an offensive lineman? Does he need to go and add a cornerback? Does he need to go and add a receiver? I don't know the answers to these questions. But we'll know them come Wednesday afternoon. And we'll know what Moorhead has in front of him. And that is kind of one advantage to the early signing period, probably one of the only ones. I hate the early signing period. I think it's stupid. We're sitting here the week before Christmas talking about recruiting and having this big, huge college football day right in the middle of bowl season. It's not fair to the college staffs that are going to bowls, especially the big bowls, that have something to play for. And other staffs like Tennessee, their staff hits the ground running. They don't have to worry about a bowl. They can be out recruiting every day. Alabama can't do that. Georgia can't do that. It's not fair. It's not fair. There's too much going on in December. Nobody's on an even playing field right now. And you ask high school players, Marcus Murphy is an example. He just played for a state championship 2 weeks ago. He was in the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game this weekend. When is that guy going to be able to visit anybody? I mean, it's good that he committed to State and is going to go to State, but when would that guy have ever had a chance to visit anybody? It's just, the early signing period's a mess, and I hope they get rid of it. If they don't get rid of it, maybe change it. Change it, make it August. Make it before everything happens. If a guy wants to get rid of it and be done with it, let him do it. I think Moorhead's start to recruiting so far has been a good start. I think it's been a good start keeping the guys on board, the Marcus Murphys, the Malik Heaths, the Jalen Maidens. Keeping those guys on board is a good start. It's not a great start yet because he hasn't really added anybody. But that doesn't mean that's not out there. Devontae Jason's a 4-star wide receiver out of Louisiana. Indications are that he could possibly be leaning towards signing with Mississippi State. If he does, the class or the job on Moorhead starts to trend towards great. Jerome Carvin, a 4-star offensive lineman out of Memphis Cordova. If he were to add him, now you're talking about a great job by Joe Moorhead in the interim. I don't know if those guys are going to sign with State. I don't know at all. I know little more than what you know as far as Devontae Jason and Jerome Carvin. I will say this. On the message boards and on Twitter, can we call Devontae Jason? Can we call him Devontae Jason? Can we call him his name? I wasn't there for the creation of his nickname. I wasn't there when he was a kid. I don't feel like I know the guy. I'm not comfortable calling him by his nickname. And everybody on the message board says, oh, we got to sign WAP. That's his nickname, WAP. We got to sign WAP. Nobody knows who you're talking about. Stop using nicknames for people you don't know. Use their name. Sorry. My bad. I got a little heated out here, Land Shark. Like you Ole Miss fans do when there's a sale at J. Crew. Is there ever a sale at J. Crew? You know, Land Shark. Yeah. Ole Miss fan. Tax Slayer Bowl is coming up. I'll be in Jacksonville. This is the weirdest bowl game State's ever played in. The weirdest bowl game State has ever played in my life. Still good to go to a bowl, and it's still good to go to a Florida Bowl. It's good to go to a warm spot in January or December 30th. It doesn't really feel like a bowl, though. It doesn't really feel like State's playing. Does it feel to you like Mississippi State is playing an important game in 12 days? Does it feel like that to you? Because it doesn't feel like it to me. It's just it's a rogue bowl game that is in between eras. The Dan Mullen era is over. It ended Egg Bowl night. The Joe Moorhead era starts September 2nd or 3rd, whatever the first day is of the season. So now you've got this bowl game just sitting out there, and it's going to be the one and only game of the Greg Knox era. I don't care about the Greg Knox era. I hope the players care. I hope they are able to stir up something inside of them that makes them want to go out and win this game. I hope they're able to put aside what has happened with their former coach leaving and the new coach coming in and this transition period. I hope they're able to just go out and play their guts out. I hope they go out and win the game by 30. But there's no secret that State's under a massive coaching mismatch here. And I know we joke about Peter's sermon, but at least he's actually there. At least there's actually a defensive coordinator there, even though he's the worst one in the country. But Bobby Petrino is an outstanding coach. Offensively, Louisville will be ready. So this is, I don't know, I'm selfish. I'm a State fan. I'm not an unbiased media member. I am a State fan, and I'm selfish. I want to win this game. I want to win every game we play. To that end, I wish Joe Moorhead and staff had figured out a way to coach in this game. I wish they had somehow figured out a way to put in some skeleton game plan or something to coach in this game. But I understand why they didn't, because that doesn't really make sense. When you're talking about building a program, he's building for 2018 and the future. This bowl game has very little to do with that. I understand it. This game is small potatoes when it comes to building Joe Moorhead's program at Mississippi State. But I'm selfish. I want to win every game. I just wish we had figured out something there. Maybe I'm being irrational. Probably am. And I'm not mad he's not coaching. I understand. I guess I'm just a little bothered that it feels like we're going to a gunfight and we don't even, with a water pistol, you know? We're not really going armed for what the battle is going to be. But let's talk about Jacksonville real quick. I'll come to the Facebook Live. I'm going to be there. And State fans, let's hang out. Let's hang out. What do you think, Land Shark? A bowling night? Should I host a bowling night for everybody? Or an arcade night? Or a movie night? Well, what should I do? Should we go to a restaurant? Should I buy everybody's dinner? What would you do? Why am I talking to you? You don't have a mic. Why shouldn't I talk? I should talk to Terp. He has a mic. What do you think, Terp?
Bowling sounds fun.
Bowling. Yeah, bowling with Brandon.
A little competition.
At Bowling at the Bowl.
Yeah, sounds fun. I would go.
You would?
If I was there, yeah.
I bet you suck at bowling.
I guarantee I'd beat you.
You guarantee you'd beat me?
Guaranteed. Yep.
What's your high score?
Highest?
Yes.
Probably like 180.
And you'd beat me a 180.
I would. No doubt.
180. 180s are for skaters. They're for skateboarders, all right?
All right.
All right. All-Star game. Boy, that was impressive. That was impressive. Mississippi plays Alabama. Isn't it weird how you have the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game for 30 years, and all of a sudden you put it in Mississippi and Mississippi starts winning? Huh. That's odd. And there's Marcus Murphy on the screen. Got some Marcus Murphy highlights playing for you. But it was a beatdown of epic proportions. Mississippi beat Alabama 42-7. You had Mississippi State commits doing big things. Marcus Murphy was outstanding, rushed for 136 yards in the second half alone. A couple of touchdowns, could have been the MVP. Tylen Knight of Pearl won the MVP, or the defensive MVP, I think. He was outstanding, Tylen Knight. That guy might have earned himself an offer. Brad Cumbus, big tight end out of East Central, he ran somebody over. He looked good. Fabian Lovett on the defensive line. Crumity from Oak Grove. Malik Heath looked good. That was an exciting glimpse of the future. You know, Mississippi's teams never really go into that game and just lay a beat down on Alabama. Just lay a beat down on a bunch of 4 and 5 stars. But it happened this week. It happened with guys like Marcus Murphy and Malik Heath and other players. It was really fun to watch. And I hope you guys really paid attention to what Marcus Murphy is. Because he's not a running back as shown on the screen. He is just a football player. And I hate when people say that, oh, he's just a football player. Find a spot for him. But this guy really is. I mean, I honestly think he could be all SEC at safety and possibly all SEC at slot receiver. If the ball's in his hand, he can't be stopped. And with his size and speed and ability, you put him in safety, he's going to find the football. And he's going to knock somebody down. Look how thick he is. I mean, we're watching it on screen. I mean, that's just a rare athlete right there, a rare football player. And I'm very excited. He'll be signing with Mississippi State on Wednesday. I'm very excited about the future. Malik Heath, again, looked good. It was just a very impressive showing by Mississippi in the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star Game, one we don't see very often. And the fact that this Mississippi team, the one that won 42-7, is composed primarily at the top end of Mississippi State commits. I mean, 10 guys committed to Mississippi State played in that game. I don't know what the record is, but that's got to be close. I can't remember when the Mississippi team was this dominated by Mississippi State commits, and they went out and won 42-7. I don't subscribe to the theory that it makes them think they're going to beat Alabama or gives them the confidence to beat Alabama. I think they already had it. I think these guys already had that swagger. These players who have joined together, who have been, together as State Team 18 or whatever you want to call it, they thought they could beat Alabama from the jump. This group is ready to get into Starkville and do some big things. And it sets the table for 19. If Joe Moorhead can win the state in 2019, to go with this class that I think is very, very good, maybe underrated, big things could start happening. There's a lot of discussions on the message boards about basketball. There's a lot of talk about basketball. When will state fans start to support this team? You guys know me. We're family here, right? I love Mississippi State basketball. It's my favorite sport at Mississippi State. But I don't think it's fair to the fan base. I've said it before. I'll expound on it now. I don't think it's fair to the fan base to blame all attendance issues on the fan base. That's not right. That's not fair. Now, is the attendance where it needs to be? Probably not. But there are mitigating factors. There are factors from Mississippi State itself, from TV, that prevent huge attendance sometimes. I mean, putting games on Sunday at 7 o'clock, nobody's coming to that game. Unless you're playing North Carolina or Duke, nobody's coming to that game. Nobody's coming to see you play Jacksonville State on a Sunday. And the actual schedule itself, I just think Ben Howland or the schedule makers did this team no favors with the schedule. How can you expect fans to fill out an arena for November, December games against North Georgia, Jacksonville State, UT Martin? And the one good non-conference opponent you play them in Cincinnati. Just didn't give fans enough to grab onto yet. Now, State's 9-1, could be 12-1 going into SEC play. If they're 12-1 going into SEC play, and 2,500 people show up for State to play Arkansas, then I'll join you. I'll be mad. I'll be upset. But I think State fans are going to turn out. And attendance is an issue everywhere. It just is. Outside of the top 1% of teams in college basketball, your Dukes, your North Carolinas, your Michigan States, outside of those teams, everybody's having trouble getting people to attend. SEC play will be a strong indicator. If you want this team to have full fan support, they have to get off to a good start in SEC play. Right now, I'm just not sure State fans believe this team is back or good. And I'm not sure I believe it. You got to show it. You know, the one game on ESPN2 going to play Cincinnati and only scoring 50 points didn't do a lot of favors. I love Mississippi State basketball. I'd love there to be 10,500 people at every game and us win every game by 30. But we are building to that point. We just haven't gotten far enough along, and it's been too long. So State fans are a little walking on eggshells. They're not all in yet. I mean, look at the women. They win. State fans are all in, 100%. But all that's in the past. Now let's talk about the SEC. If State's 12-1, they got to beat, I think, Southern Miss. They got to beat a couple of other Rudy Poo teams to do it. If they can get to 12-1, they start SEC playoff, the first 5 games. Start that 3-2. Now you got something. Now you're 15-3. You're 3-2 in the league. If you started off 4-1, you really got something. But if you started off anything less than 3-2, I think fans' fears will be kind of reinforced, and it'll be hard to get the fans to really buy into this team. Now, the first 5 games in the SEC are home against Arkansas. Arkansas is a good team. They're in the top half of the league. At Florida. Florida has struggled lately, but again, a good team. At Florida is nothing nice. At Ole Miss. That would be a huge win for State. Now, Ole Miss is not very good this year. But Andy Kennedy has owned State during the Rick Ray tenure and the first part of the Howland tenure. That's going to turn at some point. There's no better time for it to turn than right now. If State goes on the road and beats Ole Miss and is 2-1 coming back in the SEC, coming back to play Auburn at home, it's going to be full or close to full. Home against Arkansas, at Florida, at Ole Miss, home against Auburn, home against Vanderbilt. 3-2 is where you need to be. If you're 4-1, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Today's top 5 at bwalker_SEC. You can send me a top 5 list and I'll do it. You send me a topic, I'll do the top 5 list. Today's top 5 on that topic. Today's top 5. The top 5 commitments in the 2018 class, and I'm going by what I think they'll turn into in college. And I think we have several players in this class who will be big-time contributors for Mississippi State. That's good water. It's good water today. Number 5, Quatrivius Johnson is, I believe, a 7'8", 700-pound offensive tackle from Greenwood, Mississippi. I might have embellished his size just a little bit, but he's a giant of a man. He is huge. He is a 4-star offensive tackle. He is somebody State hasn't been able to land in the last 9 or 10 years. They haven't been able to land the 4-star offensive tackle out of Mississippi since maybe, what, Derek Sherrod? Has it been that long? I think Jake Thomas out of Columbus was a 4-star, but I'm not sure that it all worked out. But this would be probably the best offensive line commitment in the state of Mississippi State's got in several years. And Quatrivius Johnson is somebody, I think he's really like 6'7", 6'8", 350 or something like that. And he's not all that fat. He's just gigantic. I think he could really be something at Mississippi State. Number 4, Jalen Maiden, the 4-star quarterback out of Sac City, Texas. I don't have to say much about him. We've talked about him a lot. Left-handed kid, 6'2", 230, DAC size basically. A winner, somebody who has won at Sac City, Texas. And keeping him was a big, big thing for Joe Moorhead. I don't know what Joe Moorhead quarterbacks are going to look like at Mississippi State, but I know this is a great start. Number 3, Brad Cumbest. And this might be the guy I'm more excited about than anybody right now, because for everything Mullen did at Florida and then everything he did at Mississippi State, he never got the tight end position right. At Florida, he had All-American tight ends. All-American tight ends. At Mississippi State, he never got close to that level. The best was Malcolm Johnson in 14, I think, who had 30 catches. And I think a tight end is just so valuable. And I thought we underused our tight ends this year. I thought Farrod Green and Jordan Thomas would be open and we wouldn't throw it to him at times. They would disappear in our offense. Now, Jordan Thomas didn't help us cause by dropping too many passes. But for Rod Green, I thought got lost in our offense sometime. But in Brad Cumbest, you've got a 6'6", 240-pound guy who can run a 4.6. He's running people over in the All-Star game. And I look at Joe Moorhead's offenses at Penn State. Look at the college football award list this year. I think Mike Gesicki is his name. Tight end at Penn State. Mackey Award finalist. All-America tight end. Joe Moorhead used him to death. Boy, I think Brad Cumbest is arriving at Mississippi State at the right time for the right coach. And I think we're adding the perfect weapon at tight end. Very excited about that. Number 2, Malik Heath / Stephen Guidry. It's just going to be nice to see big-time receivers show up at Mississippi State again. It's going to be nice. Probably the best, these two guys, the highest-rated receiver commitments since Fred Ross, and before that, since Chad Bumpus. You know, Mullen just never really landed star guys at receiver. He landed guys like De'Runny Wilson, who turned into a great college player. And then he cast his lot with guys like Reggie Todd and Jamal Couch, who have not really followed that mold of De'Runny yet. But Malik Heath and Stephen Guidry really don't have to develop. They're already ready. They're pretty good. Now, Heath needs to develop a little bit, but Guidry's ready. And then you add Devontae Jason, possibly a 4-star receiver out of New Orleans. So I'm just lumping the wide receiver class in at number 2 because I'm so excited to see it. And number 1, come on. Come on. Who do we think this is, Terp?
Point City guy?
Point City? And I'm not being a homer. Okay. I'm being a homer. But it's justified because this guy's the best player in the state. He's the best player in the state, and I think we saw that the other day. He is the best football player in the state of Mississippi. Marcus Murphy can do so many things. And I think it'd be crazy to play anybody 2 ways, but if anybody could do it, he could do it. I think he could play offense, he could play defense. You put him wherever you want to put him, he's going to be good. I just think Marcus Murphy is going to be a star in Mississippi State. A star. That's my top 5. That's today's top 5. Again, @BWalker_SEC. You can send your list in, and I'll do it. Until next time, here I come, Facebook Live. Here I come to talk to you. Let's talk about what we're going to do in Jacksonville. On the podcast, my name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Somebody says don't sleep on Jet Johnson. Yeah, Jet Johnson's going to be good too. Jet Johnson, the linebacker out of Tupelo. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Let's see. Murphy. Yeah, everybody likes Murphy. Point City. Eric Hutchinson says Devontae Jason is more ready than Heath. I agree with that. Mark West says hopefully WAP too. Did you listen to the show? I don't know. Do you think we will get the DB from Devontae Jason's high school? Sorry, his name escapes me. Is Corion Harris, and I think that ship has sailed. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. I don't have inside information there. I just go by what I see on the same message boards you look at. I think that ship has sailed. I like Cumbus too, but hearing he might be moved to defensive end. I have not heard that, Junior Ray. I've not heard that at all. I don't discount that you heard it. Hey, Brandon, get us some great shots of Jack this week for Christmas. Thank you for bringing that up, Mac McBrayer. Thank you for bringing that up. Here's my plan. Here is my plan. And Zach Dickerson, I'll get to that question in a second. Christmas Day is next Monday, and we have to do a show. But I'm not going to be here Christmas Day. Turf's not going to be here Christmas Day. Landshark might be. But here's my idea, Terp. Like Wednesday or Thursday, we record a second show and we'll save it for Christmas, and it'll just be 30 minutes of nothing but Jack.
Okay.
30 minutes of the whole thing is going to be Merry Christmas, everybody. Here's a crap ton of Jack Crystal clips.
Yeah.
And I'll talk during the interim. Sound good to you?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm not in Tuesday, so.
Tuesday when?
The 26th.
Why?
No, I don't think anyone's coming.
What?
We're not doing any show.
Why not?
Because I don't know. We're just not.
Nobody told me.
Well, that's my understanding.
Yeah, you'll be here. You'll be here.
Do it from home.
Yeah, you'll be here.
Do it from home.
Somebody asked me how Ole Miss got Matt Corral. It's like they went to a going out of business sale and they were able to get one of the last things in the store. Not a whole lot of other people were shopping for that particular item. I'll put it like that. We'd love to see Tylen Knight in maroon. Daniel Martin asking about the player from Pearl who was just outstanding. And he was outstanding all year. He was the best player for Pearl, the second best team in the state. He was a tremendous football player, an incredible football player. Yeah, he's a little small, but there's been small players that have thrived in the SEC. I don't have a problem taking a chance on a guy like that once a year. I mean, don't fill your whole class with guys who might be too small, but certainly go after a kid with that kind of ability. Bringing in 3 tight ends, Spivey or Cumbus will move to defensive end, says Ethan Fleury. I just don't see Cumbus moving. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but that guy, 6'6", 240, running like that, maybe he could be a great defensive end, but again, Moorhead was so good with the tight end at Penn State. And whatever Moorhead decides, I'm sure it'll be the right decision. He knows more than I do. But, boy. Spivey is moving to defensive end, I heard, says Sinbad. Ethan Fleury just says Jeffrey Simmons. I don't know what that's in context to. Everybody's talking about Matt Corral. Philip Owen says small players thrive in the NFL too. Yeah, again, I almost would put aside a scholarship one year just to say, all right, I'm going to go find the best football player. I don't care what he looks like. I don't care. We're gonna try to catch lightning in a bottle here. If there's a guy who's getting overlooked because of his size, I'm not going to overlook him. Would that be a terrible misallocation of scholarships? Maybe. But I'd rather do that than take a guy who might look good but has never proven he can play football. And there's certainly been plenty of those through the years. Last 5-star was Jeffrey Simmons, says Mark West. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You guys are talking about Ole Miss and signing 4-star running backs. So the 4-star running back from the 2019 class. Are you talking about Jerrion Ely? Hold off on that one. That's all I'll say. Hold off on that one. Let's wait till signing day 2019. Really hope they offer center Trace Clopton. He dominated Alabama's nose guards the entire game, says Jeremiah Hegwood. Trace Clopton from Brookhaven. I believe the coach's son at Brookhaven. I might not be right there. But he, yeah. I mean, if you're taking a flyer, if you have room to take a flyer, there's definitely plenty of opportunities and plenty of people in Mississippi that deserve that. I think a Trace Clopton is a good example. I think a Tylen Knight is a good example. Jason Brownlee from West Point, a good example. These are all guys that haven't really gotten offers that maybe deserve offers. I mean, they're really good. Brownlee was one of the best receivers in the state this year. Brownlee shut down Malik Heath against Callaway. Ely is the top baseball prospect. He will never play down a football at Ole Miss, says Sinbad. That's very possible. So, yeah, there are definitely players out there that say, why aren't we talking football? Why aren't we talking about football or restaurants or food or something? Why does everybody want to talk about football today? I just talk football for 30 minutes. What are you getting me for Christmas, Terp? Were your headphones down?
Yeah, they were not on.
What are you getting me for Christmas?
Probably nothing.
Probably nothing. What about top 5 MSU gifts for Christmas? Well, I'll have to write that one down, Justin Burford. That might be today's top 5 for tomorrow.
Is it Cowbell on the list?
What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say number 1.
Probably number 1 through 5. Clopton committed to Southern Miss? Yes, definitely. Definitely. I mean, I know he's committed to Southern Miss, but if State offered, he'd certainly have to think about it, wouldn't he? Knight reminds me of Barkley. Barkley. Which Barkley? Not Saquon.
Charles
Barkley. Shut up. Barkley the dog from Sesame Street. A Christmas present would be to fire a land shark.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Lance Sharp. You're out. Is Sweat definitely coming back next year? Daniel Martin, I think it's too early to tell. Too early to tell. He'll have that decision to make. I don't think that decision has been made yet. What's our recruiting number situation? Can't offer flyers if there's no room. Philip Owen, I think, state's pretty much full. But there's always room to juggle a couple things around. And we'll know come Wednesday if we have filled up everything or how many spots we're going to have left. Can I buy you a Shrek doll and buy Terp a donkey doll? That's what Zach Dickerson, that's what he spent his time writing. Sure. Buy me a Shrek doll. Shrek. This is funny, right? Because I'm big. I look like an ogre. Is that right? Is that funny? Everybody's a jokester.
Careful out there.
Is Jingle Bell Rock the worst Christmas song? We have Jingle Bells, no need for a remix. Thank you for this question. Thank you, Ethan Fleury. Oh, man. Is Jingle Bell Rock... I'm glad somebody asked this. Because I didn't know if I was the only one who held this opinion. That is the only Christmas song that makes me change the Christmas station. That's the worst Christmas song they ever did. Although Blue Christmas is pretty damn bad, too. Unless it's the Elvis version. If you hear Leanne Rhymes singing Have Yourself a Blue Christmas or whatever it is, you can take that on and go somewhere. But Jingle Bell Rock, also terrible. Just terrible. It is the worst.
It's the best.
My favorite Christmas song, see, I tend to gravitate more to religious Christmas songs as opposed to,
really?
Jingle Bells and all that. My favorite Christmas song is Oh Holy Night. That's my favorite one.
Interesting.
But I certainly don't like Jingle Bell Rock. Anyway, Deere could play in the bowl game. No. Why? No. Malik Deere will not and cannot play in the bowl game. Jingle Bell Rock is the first song in Lethal Weapon in 1987. That awesome movie made it okay in my book. Remember Lethal Weapon with Danny Glover and
You've actually seen this?
Mel Gibson? I have seen that one. I've seen that one. Why is everybody talking about cheeses? Swiss cheese, Monterey Jack cheese, Valley Grade cheese? What are they talking about?
I don't know why.
Are you guys having a best cheese contest and nobody invited me?
Someone said I like cheese.
Why is Garth Brooks the worst country music star ever? And he is. No, Kenny. He is not. Kenny Chesney is the worst country music star ever. He's not country and he doesn't sing. He's the worst.
He's pretty good.
He is the worst. Dwight Yoakam, one of the worst ever.
I don't know who that is.
Florida Georgia Line, awful, but they're not country.
I like them. More pop country.
You would like them.
Yeah.
But you like Luke Bryan too, don't you? Of course you do.
He's all right.
We're just talking about, cheese, because it was a gift. They said top 5 gifts, and they said buy MSU cheese. See, MSU makes their own cheese.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And one of the gifts we give each other is to buy you some cheese from...
So you give cheese?
Yeah.
What kind of cheese do they make?
Well, obviously this list right here, you can see.
See brie?
Brie and then cheese.
Some jalapeno.
Tim Franks agrees that Garth is no good. I still don't agree with that. MSU gifts and MSU cheese is a great gift. Luke Bryan is garbage. Now we're going in 90 different directions. 90 different directions. Wendy Schultz Franklin agrees with me. Kenny Chesney is the worst. The absolute worst. The worst. My most hated musician. He's not a musician.
Yeah, he is.
He is terrible. He is terrible. He doesn't even sing. He just talks through his whole songs. He's awful. He's this tall. Is
he short? I didn't know.
He's tiny. Anywhere you're going to be stationed during the bowl game, Christopher Holly. I'm going to figure that out. I'm going down the morning of the 28th. I'll be there through the 31st. I'm going to figure that out. Lee Jennings likes pickles. Congratulations, Lee. I hate pickles, but I love the way they taste.
That makes no sense.
I know. Nobody can ever figure that out, but I hate pickles.
Texture or the look?
I hate pickles, but I love the way they taste. And here's what I have to do. All right. Pickles. The taste is amazing. I love the taste. But the texture, the fact that it's cold, I hate it. I can't put that in my mouth. So what I have to do is I will take a pickle, all right?
Yep.
And then I will take a handful of potato chips.
Oh, no. Okay.
I will take a bite of the pickle. Just a small bite, and I'll put some potato chips. So then I don't feel the texture of the pickle. I just get the crunch of the potato chips.
That's interesting.
And people think I'm weird because of that.
That's kind of weird.
Have you ever heard the band Skillet? They're a Christian group. I know that. Have you ever heard Luke sing "Oh Holy Night"? I've not.
Probably great. I'm sure you'd like it.
Eric Hutchinson, that's not funny. That's kind of funny. Nickelback is inspiration. You don't have to be talented, smart, or good-looking to have success. I like to feel that I am that inspiration. That if you look at my success, you can say you don't have to be smart, talented, or good-looking to be successful. What are you laughing at, Landshark?
Like fried pickles? See that?
I do. I love fried pickles. Oh, God, I love fried pickles. Eddie Rondell Harris hates Wendy's pickles. See, this is the stuff. This is why we're here.
What's wrong with Wendy's pickles?
Kenny Chesney, original stuff ain't that bad. Once he started singing from a beach on every song, it became garbage. One word, Creed. I have a take on Creed. Would you like to hear my take on Creed?
Creed from The Office? I'm kidding. Some sort of band, right?
Yes, it's some sort of band.
What's your take?
Here's my take on Creed. There are certain things from the 90s that everybody loved in the 90s or the early 2000s, and everybody liked them, and all of a sudden it's cool to not like them. And everybody who said Creed is the worst loved Creed in 2002. Or at the very least, they liked them. There's nothing wrong with Creed. I don't mind Creed. I have no beef with Creed.
What's their best song? Most popular song?
Probably Higher or My Sacrifice, one of those. But their earlier stuff was better. My Own Prison, all that stuff. Fred Harley, what's up, man? Glenn Lowe is leaving to get some cheese. Oh, boy. Hashtag only Terp. I like that. I like that hashtag, too.
I've seen that a couple times.
They were better when they were called Pearl Jam. All their songs sound the same. Lee Jennings likes listening to Creed while eating pickles. I think Lee Jennings is drunk. It's too early in the day. What's the worst job you ever had? Working with Terp.
That's the best.
The worst job I ever had delivering pizzas in high school was a pizza delivery guy.
That's pretty bad.
In West Point. Boy, it didn't go well.
Oh, gosh.
It did not go well. Lance Chain says Creed was the bomb back in the day. And back in the day, you could say things were the bomb. You don't really say that anymore. What do you say? It's lit. What would you say? Things are lit. Or something was good. Or it's
lit,
fire.
Fire.
Hype. Hype?
Yeah.
Stop.
And Landshark's sending you a message.
I had a friend who thought Hanson was a girl group. I love my regulars. Where's the message? On email?
Her hand.
Oh, you telling me to wrap it up? What is that? Did somebody hit a home run?
Odd, yeah.
What was that?
It's like a, I don't know.
Is she calling me crazy?
Looks like it. Usually like a home run.
Somebody hit a home run. Okay. Yeah. All right. I guess I'm being ushered out of here. Usher was good back in the day. I'm being ushered out of here. We're finished. Kenny Manning says, I bet you scared a lot of customers when they open the door to get their pizza. That's not nice, Kenny. Not nice at all. But yes. Until next time, we'll be back tomorrow at 10:45 Central. Please join me again when we'll talk pickles, Creed, Hootie and the Blowfish, Snuffleupagus, tater tots, whatever you'd like to talk about. We'll be back. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been watching More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.